Hi there, Chris Banish here. I've seen a lot of questions on the GTube message boards about how to give your child Nexium. It comes in a powder format. I'm sure you all recognize this guy. And how do you get that into your child's stomach? Good question, right? Well, if you follow the directions, it usually ends up a mess, and most of it doesn't even end up getting in there. So, I'd like to share some of what we've learned over our time and how we got it to work. These are the supplies that we use. We have this little contraption here, which is the real magic. This is a 60 ml syringe that we usually get with most feeding supply orders. This is a 10 ml syringe, and those come with various other things. This one happens to have the screw-on port here, but I think anything between 5 and 10 mils should work. That's for a water flush at the end. The Nexium, when it's made and everything, is a little chunky and can interfere with the valve. It can hold it open, and then you get stuff leaking out and all that. Now the rest of it here, this is your standard Y port. The only part that really seems to degrade and need to be changed occasionally is this guy, your 60 mil syringe, which if we've done feeding for any amount of time, we've usually got tons of these. And I tape the two together here so that it all stays in one little contraption. Now, we also have a glass of water here. Let me get the camera pointing the right way. It's actually not as big as it looks, but it's our glass of water that we give her, 60 mils each day of. And we have a box here with for extra stuff. Those are all the Nexium packets and things like that. We also keep one empty box over there to hold supplies, including a glass bottle. These are 1 ounce glass bottles. It doesn't have to be glass like this. It can be anything, just something that's sealable. It has a little cap here that you can mix all this stuff up. Now she's also teething, so every other day we give her Tylenol as well. So you can actually mix both, and you can give one thing there that has both of them in it. So we're going to go over that. So let me see if I can set this phone up the right way so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, now you got your water here. The first thing you do is you take Mr. Syringe here. You stick the plunger in to about the 60 mark. Gives you just a little bit of room there. Now you put the other end in the water. And then you pull up on this. And as you can see, the water came up to just barely starting there. So now you can pull this guy out. This is your flush water. This is very important. You don't want to do this without that. So that's your water to flush with, and this primes the line. So you can clip it off. And then you can just stick that inside of one of the pockets. The other pocket that I have there has the extra bottles and stuff. Now we're going to fill that with our Nexium. So you can just pop the top of it off here. And since it was clipped, as you can see, everything is still staying where it was. Okay. I'm trying not to do things that are shaky so this doesn't look like a blare. Damn it. doesn't look like a Blair Witch knockoff. Oh, come on. Okay, so your next step is this little glass bottle here. Now, it doesn't have to be a glass bottle exactly like this. You can use any sealable bottle that's easy to clean out and can withstand really hot water, because that's what we clean it out with. Now, you shake this up good from one end, makes all the powder drop to this end, which is what you want. So, use scissors, cut the top of it off. So now you got your little packet here. So then you can compress it and you get this little pore spout looking thing there. So that just pours right in. This just goes into the bottle there pretty easily. I'm sure you could use a funnel or something if you needed to, but I find it's usually easy enough just to do that. So anyway, bottle with Nexium in it. Now this part you have to do fast. Well, not too fast, but pretty quick. Now a mil or an ounce like this bottle has is 30 mils, so we filled up about 2/3 of the way. Now you have to turn it upside down and start to shake it right away. The reason you don't want to let it sit there for any length of time is because the Nexium powder will start to turn into like a rock and you can't get it to dissolve. So, you know, get that on there and start shaking it right away. So anyway, after 30 seconds or so of shaking, there you go. No lumps or anything. So now I was talking about the Tylenol too. So you got children's Tylenol. We know her dose for her size and everything is around 5 mils. So there you go. There's 5 mils of Tylenol. Now you can just pour that in there and mix it up. Okay. So, you don't want to just leave this like this. You gotta keep this guy good and shook up. So that's approximately 20 to 25 mils of liquid there, which is about what you should get. Now, what you then do, now the end goal is to get this inside of your child, right? So, in this case, now that we have our bottle of mixture here, the other good thing about Tylenol or ibuprofen like that is that it actually has kind of a more waxy liquid thing, so it keeps things in suspension even better. But you don't always have to do that, obviously. So now you can just pour that into there. Now comes the fun part. Initially, I was thinking high school physics here, and I'd make the air hot inside of there and then put the top on, and then as it cooled it would create suction, so we wouldn't have any air left. But yeah, that didn't work out. Well, it did, but it was kind of a nightmare. So along that same vein, something that helps out a lot, just breathe into it and get air that's from your body at around 100 degrees or so in there, and then put the top on. So there you go. You just stick it on till it just barely goes in there. Now you turn it upside down and everything should drain out of there for the most part. Now you have this line here full of water. So what you do is you blow into the line as hard as you can. It's going to really take some pressure, not huge amounts, but a little bit. And you can push this amount of water back in there because that's a fair amount of air in there, so it's not going to take a whole lot of pressure to compress it a little bit. So there you go. You got most of the water through, and the water coming through pushed out anything that was near the valve there. So with the clip still open, you just push this down to where you're right near the top there. Now you turn it back over, and then you can just push down on the plunger till it hits the end, and there you go. If there was any loss, it was very minimal, but now you just hook that up to the G-tube, push this in, then push this in. Takes all of about 20 seconds. Your kid can go back to playing. So anyway, that's how we do it, and then afterwards we wash out glass bottle and this with hot water. Then when we wash this guy out, we run hot water through here and through the tube, and then after this is filled up with hot water, we pull this in and out to get anything out of the water area. And then when it's done with the plunger out, you can turn this upside down and then suck on this end, and that'll draw in dry air through the tube here and get rid of most of the moisture inside of it. Just a little trick there that we've learned. So anyway, hope this is helpful.